into the Mountaineers Now post-game show. I'm Schuyler, Callihan, and joined with me tonight is Christopher Hall. West Virginia falls 80-68 in the first round of the PK 85 out in Portland, Oregon, to the Purdue Boilermakers. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the stats here first before we break down tonight's game. Zach Edey leading the way for the Boilermakers as expected, 24 points, 12 boards, 7 of 12 from the floor. Mason Gillis had 14 points, and Brandon Newman chipped in 8 points for the Boilermakers to round out that scoring totals for them. So over for West Virginia, Eric Stevenson had 17 points, missed a little bit of time with a leg injury. It looked like maybe a foot. Couldn't really tell exactly what that deal was. Joe Toussaint had an offensive spark, going for 16 points on 7 of 14 shooting, and then Kedrian Johnson chipping in 11 points as well. So Chris, I mean, this is kind of a weird game to really dissect because it looked like West Virginia had a lot of chances. I mean, they were getting offensive rebounds, they were turning Purdue over, but they weren't capitalizing. Is that kind of how you saw this game?
Yeah, pretty much. It was they didn't have an answer for Edie. Of course, he got a lot of friendly whistles early, but a lot of his points came from the line. But there was multiple times where they had chance to make run out and get real and really take the lead. The shooting, I think they started off from 3 point range, 1 of 14
Yeah,
from range. Something that we haven't seen, and it wasn't like they were offense either. So they missed open shots. And that, to me, really is how that's the way that started. With Purdue coming in, I think they were shooting 28% from 3 point range, and of course they couldn't miss even their contested looks. They couldn't miss, and they were missing open looks coming into this game. So really, everything on paper went opposite. Purdue made shots, West Virginia didn't, um, and they got in foul trouble with the guards. I thought, even though the guards outscored the Purdue guards. I thought the West Virginia guards got outplayed. I
yeah,
thought the Purdue guards really set the tempo of the game all pretty much throughout. Just maybe a little spurts when they lost control, but they bounced right back and hit big shot on the other end. So to me, it was just missed opportunities, missed shots, um, and I think those guards are really going to look back on that game and uh, really probably beat themselves up more than anybody else can because they let a pair of freshmen dictate that game.
yeah. West Virginia shot 5 of 22 for the day from beyond the 3 point arc. Before I get into kind of how this game went in terms of the effort, how do you feel like West Virginia handled Zach Edey? Because I mean, obviously he got a ton of easy looks, but he also had a lot of contested shots that he just made. I mean, do you think that they, for the most part, handled him fairly well, or was it just kind of a it is what it is situation?
Like I said, I thought he got a lot of help early from the officiating. Whether he turns around and make those shots, it's a guessing game. More than likely he does. He's been pretty efficient down low. Even when I think he was 10 for 10, but at the time 3 for 7 from field goal. Yeah, he's probably going to get most of those points anyway because he just had the size advantage. So, I was a little shocked that they didn't try to double team him more, but again, Purdue started making shots early. So what do? You leave them open
Yeah,
even when
yeah,
they're
he got
contested.
open in the corner.
I didn't think it was really easy. Again, I thought it was the Purdue guard really dictating the tempo. I just thought the guard play for West Virginia was not up to the standard defensively than probably we expected going in this game. Uh, Other than that, I don't think the front court played bad necessarily on Edie. He was going to get his. I just think they were just it wasn't an effort thing. They were just a little late on loose balls. Again, just silly missed opportunities and some silly unforced turnovers when they had a chance to cut into the lead at certain points of the game.
Yeah, I mean, and also too, when you get guys in foul trouble early on, I think Jimmy Bell had 3 fouls just a few minutes into the second half. Trey Mitchell picked up his fourth around the 15-minute mark, I think. That's not ideal. I mean, when you have Muhammad Wagi, a guy that's 220 pounds, hasn't played much college basketball, guarding Zach Edey, I mean, that's going to spell trouble. But regardless, I think they did at least show a lot of fight in this game, and I think that's kind of the one thing that not only did Eric Stevens mention last week and Bob Huggins mentioned, but I think that was one of my biggest question marks coming into this tournament was how was this team going to handle being punched in the mouth because they had not had to go through that yet. They had not faced adversity to this point. Do you feel like this is maybe even though it came at a loss, do you feel like that you saw a lot out of this team tonight that gives you hope moving forward that they're going to be able to maybe win some of these close games?
Yes, for the effort, but again, I thought Purdue frustrated them offensively, and there really wasn't
Got in their head a little bit.
a, a need for it. They should, we'll see how they respond tomorrow. Kind of see what they do there. They forced a lot of things offensively. I felt, especially Trey Mitchell. They just weren't playing within themselves like we haven't seen. Credit Purdue, definitely credit Purdue for that. They shouldn't have been able to do that against this West Virginia team, but they did. They were well scouted and they executed. So I think you have to give a lot of credit Purdue, but like I said, they're going to look back at this film and really beat themselves up. There were just so many missed opportunities, and they just to me it was almost like they let them win the game with their offensive. This is the way they played offensively. Efforts there, just forced, unforced errors. I think is probably what they're going to be most frustrated.
Yeah, that second half was much better for the Mountaineers. They lost the second half 37-36. The first half kind of got a little bit Purdue got a little bit of separation there towards the end. Ended up winning that first half 43-32. So much better effort, I think, even though they still gave up 37 points in the half. I think the defensive effort was there, the intensity was there. Again, foul trouble, Stevenson going down, probably stuff that didn't hurt as well as shots not going down. So we'll see how West Virginia responds. They're going to be back at it, and we'll be back at it within the next 24 hours. It's a long weekend for us, but West Virginia will be taking on the loser of the Gonzaga Portland State game that is going on right now. We can all assume that's probably going to be Portland State. So we'll see what happens. Thank you for watching. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Be safe if you're going out for Black Friday shopping, and we'll be back here tomorrow night for the Mountaineers Now postgame show.